P3 race around Austria. My name is Aiden, and Packer couldn't make it this week with me, so I'll be taking you guys through proceedings around Austria. Last week was a very interesting race around Canada. We have, for the first leader in Excel, J. Cole, and he won the race, of course, in Canada. A very good performance, and he is now 6 points clear of NSX Yorno. We have Old School 3000, also known as Eloise Mark, who is now P3 in the standings. Behind him is Mercurial Caesar, B. Morgan, Edoc, Excelbri, who had a very good second place finish in Canada, Harry Noarg, YHYY, Savage 030, TDB, COS Stumpy, Ton Albanak, IRT Damon, who is unfortunately not here this week, Total Peace in 15th, J Luke in 16th, Miami, who has been previously promoted from, is also here today. So it's going to be very interesting to see this race. And Extra Rotation is a new driver. I've seen him race in INL before, and I know he's pretty good. So I expect him to maybe the race. Hopefully you guys are as well. So give me maybe your predictions for qualifying or for the race. It's going to be a very interesting one. There's always a chance of rain around here in Austria, so it'll be very interesting to see what's actually going to happen. Of course, we have Edoc, who's going to serve a quali ban today in qualifying, so he will start last. And yeah, the only thing he can do is go on an outlap to confirm his setup, and yeah, he's gonna have to start the race from the back row, unfortunately. But I think everyone's almost ready to go. We're missing a couple of drivers, 17 as of right now, so yeah, it's gonna be I can't wait for the race to start. Another interesting thing to note is the championship battle between the constructors is popping off as well. We have Racing Point, who are currently leading the championship by 39 points against Renault, but the gap for the battle for P2 in the standings is actually quite close together. We have basically from P2 till P7, they're only separated by 32 points, so that could, all of the standings could change dramatically constructors wise during this race as well. We have Alpha Tauri, I believe, yeah, Alpha Tauri, Ferrari and Haas all separated by 1 point, so a lot can change in this one race constructors wise, so it's going to be very interesting to see around Austria. Of course, penalties are quite common around here, so it's going to be interesting to see who can keep the car on track and minimize these penalties, and yeah, maybe secure a race win because of it. We saw, of course, Excel Brie, which I think was in at least the bottom end of the top 10, but due to a late safety car, he had no penalties. He managed to finish in second place, which I could see happening here again this week if someone else gets lucky with a late safety car, or that just doesn't pick up penalties. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who can keep the car on track and get safely through the race. As we're running a little bit late right now, I don't know exactly what the hold-up is, but I'm sure we'll start quite soon to this race. Peter still has to choose his car. I think that's the only hold-up as of right now. But yeah, I'm very excited for this race, and it's going to be interesting to see how Yorno is going to bounce back and maybe regain the championship lead over J. Cole. And the gap is only 6 points, so if Yorno wins the race, he will of course jump J. Cole in the standings, and those two are really looking like the main championship rivals so far in the season. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this race unfolds. I've seen J. Cole practice this week, and he has been quite rapid as well. And so has Old School 3000 as well. They're both extremely fast in qualifying. I don't exactly know the race pace, but it's gonna be. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds. As we're getting ready to start qualifying for this race. We might see some rain here. Let's see. For strategy wise, it's gonna be a quite um, easy soft hard strategy. Although you can't really take those hards that long. You have to at least pit after lap 10, I believe, to make those hard tires work, because they do wear out quite fast in the race. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what tire everyone's going to go on. You can of course qualify on the mediums and maybe try out a medium soft strategy and get those mediums quite long into the race. But yeah, it's just so much can happen in these races, and might even have some wet weather, so it's going to be very interesting to know what's going to happen. And yeah, let's see if it's going to rain right now as we're all loading into the race. And it looks like it's overcast, so it's going to be a dry quali as of right now. Maybe we will see some rain later on in qualifying, but it is overcast right now, so grip might not be as high as some would expect. So we can see some drivers maybe yeah, come to fault because of that. And it's going to be very interesting to see. As Jerry has just said, it's going to be a dry to wet quali. Okay, so everyone is going to have to go out quite fast on their laps, and that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's going out instantly. We've seen entire train trying to go out of the pits, and yeah, it's looking like it's gonna rain for the rest of quali, so everyone's gonna try and set their best lap time. This is probably one-shot qualifying, as it seems. It's like everyone's gonna just go out right now just before the rain hits. So yeah, I mean, a lot can happen in a situation like this. Harry Norwick is the first one out of track. He will have clear space ahead of him, and he will be the first one to set a lap time. As Jerry just said, it was a dry to wet quali and a dry race, so we'll see drivers go out on a dry setup and not go out on a wet setup. It's an insane queue in sector 2 right now. It's just everyone's trying to pick their place and try and go for a clean hot lap, try not to have a little bit of dirty air from the cars ahead. So it's going to be crucial to get some personal space before starting laps. Of course, Austria is quite a short track, and yeah, we're on board with Harry Norwick now, who's going to go down into turn and brakes between the 150 meter board, hooks up turn 1 quite nicely, doesn't use a lot of inside curve on turn 1, and now onto the long straight between turn 1 and turn 3. He's going to brake around the 100 meter board, and he does hooks up the inside very nicely, doesn't touch the inside curve, gets a little bit twitchy on the exit on turn 3, but still gets the traction down, puts on his DRS, and now goes around to turn 4, doesn't use the outside curve to get the best or make the most of the track, but he gets on the traction nicely. And it looks like a very clean lap from Harry Norwick so far. Not that many mistakes as of right now, and Edok has retired, but he has a qualifying ban, I'm sorry. And Harry Norwick just not using a lot of the track on his lap, just keeping calm, making sure he doesn't invalidate. And now we're going through the tricky final sector. He doesn't use the inside curve of turn 9, and the rain has hit. Rain's out already, so everyone who's still has to start their lap time is going to struggle massively. And Harry Norwick sets 3.9, B Morgan 4.1, Old School at 3.3. What a lap! QVR Chill with a 3.7, YHYY also with a 3.7, just ahead of QVR Chill. Miami with a 3.6, he's just ahead of YHYY. It's all kicking off right now as we have Toll a 4.2, and I believe J. Luke came in with a 3.7 as well. XL Bree with another 3.7, Total Peace with a 3.4, he's the closest one to Mark as of right now. Then it's TDB also with a 3.7, I believe. Yeah, incredibly close as right now. JD has messed up his lap, so he's going to have to enter the pits. That is very unfortunate, and especially with the rain looking like it's going to become worse over time. That has cost JSD massively in qualifying wise, as the track limits are looking to get worse every single lap. Let's see who's still on lap. Tino Jonas, we're going to follow him throughout his lap. Right now he's going down into turn 4, and you can see him locking up and going rather deep. And oh my god, the traction, there's just not a lot of traction out there with the wet. It's coming down quite rapidly, and I don't see drivers improving that quickly around in these conditions, as Harry Nork has retired. He believes he can't go faster than a 3.9 in these conditions, and rightfully so, because Jonas had so much traction issues. It's quite insane. And now to Jonas, just TDB going extremely wide, and oh my god, Jonas nearly spinning again through fast right-handers, and XL Jayco has retired, unfortunately. And yeah, to Jonas an 8.4. The track has had the best conditions so far. I don't think any driver will be able to improve, and this has cost massively those who haven't set a time. Extra rotation, Peter Dornabal, JSD, Ton, Eduk, and Jayco all haven't set a lap time, so this is going to cost them so much in qualifying, and Jayco will have to start the race from the back of the grid. Our championship leader is going to start from the back of the grid, and as Jorno is starting P4, quite a good qualifying position for him, and I imagine that Mark will start the race on pole. And yeah, these conditions are getting worse by the second, it seems like. And yeah, Ton is the only one out on track right now, and to Jonas, and Ton is still trying to set a lap time at least, maybe go ahead, maybe just get ahead of those who haven't set a lap time yet. And yeah, Ton is losing so much traction down into turn 1. The track is within 2 minutes the track is gone from absolutely dry to intermediate conditions. The track it has changed so quickly, and yeah, Ton doesn't have grip whatsoever, goes deep into turn 3, and I think if he just sets a valid lap time, he will start the race for P14, but he has unfortunately spun on the exit of turn 3. Yeah, all the drivers are still in the pits, and Ton's the only one out on track. And if he just, oh my god, oh, when he's retired, yeah, that shows how quick these conditions have changed. Just waiting a minute extra in the pit lane has cost him dearly in this race of this qualifying session. And well, this is quite interesting. It was a one-stroke qualifying, and those who came out early have and set their bank and haven't invalidated have at least have a qualifying lap, and at least have a decent grid position. And actually the grid is quite close between Miami and QVR Chill. It's only separating by just over a tenth, so it's extremely close. And just hooking up that, just being out a little bit early than the rest of them could have gave you a little bit better qualifying position. And yeah, it's just so interesting to see this one-shot qualifying, and people hooking up the laps and people not hooking up the laps. And unfortunately our championship leader Jayco hasn't hooked up his lap, and he will start the race from last, so he's gonna have to do a lot of work in the race. And I imagine he might actually go on the mediums and try and extend those mediums to at least lap 20, and maybe take those softs, maybe go on the softs for the last 15 laps of the race. So yeah, a lot of drivers are retiring from the grid. QVR Chill's the only one out on a lap, and he's out on the intermediate tires, and I imagine he won't improve on his lap time. And yeah, he is going to go back in the pits, and he knows he's not gonna improve on his lap time. And yeah, this is just a one-shot qualifying, catching out a lot of people. And now it seems like the grid for the qualifying has been determined within the first 3 minutes of qualifying, which usually you usually don't see that here. So yeah, it's just insane how all of this could happen. And now because nothing's going on track, and 3 drivers still have to retire from the race, it's just everyone is just waiting for the end of the race. Pelly's just going out right now. He's currently in P14. I think all he wants to do is go and set a valid lap time. But he went out on the soft tires, and I don't think he'll have any grip, and he's retired on track. Fortunately, no one else is on track right now, so I imagine he'll get away with it. And Excel Brie and Peter Dornabal are the only ones who still have to retire from the session before we can proceed to the race. Probably this has been probably the fastest qualifying we've seen so far. The race or the grid order has been decided literally in the first 3 or 4 minutes of qualifying, and that's just mental, to be honest. Yeah, it's just insane how this all could happen. And yeah, let me know what your predictions are for the race, because there's a lot of things can happen now, of course, except especially with J. Cole starting last on the grid. But I'll run it down through the order. Old School 3000, Eloy Mark has taken pole position in this dramatic qualifying session. Total Peace in second, Miami in fifth, NSX Yorno in fourth. He needs to capitalize on J. Cole's mistake of not being able to set a valid qualifying lap time. Excel Brie in fifth, good lap from him. TDB in sixth, YHYY in seventh, J. Luke in eighth, QVR Chill in ninth, High Noir in 10th, and Ben in P11. He might, everyone below P10 who can, or never mind, no, I'm sorry, everyone inside the top 10 has to go on the soft tires, but everyone outside the top 10 can have their own free tire choice, so they might go onto the hards or the mediums to start the race. But B. Morgan, Tall, and I actually forgot who else was there, but I'm sorry, and a lot of drivers not being able to complete a lap time in qualifying. Let me know your predictions for the race. It's going to be very interesting to see. And thanks everyone for tuning into the stream. It's also overcast in the race, but JSD has said in the comments down below that it's going to be a dry race. And JSD also said he just wanted to start the race from the back, which is an interesting strategy around Austria. Overtaking is incredibly difficult, and I imagine we'll see some quite a few DRS trains. So I'm not sure if that's the best strategy, JSD, but we'll see how it works out for you. If you can be clean with the penalties, you might jump quite a few positions in this race, and yeah, you really need some overspeed to make some moves in the DRS train. So as the drivers are running up to the grid, it's going to be interesting to see what tires the drivers outside the top 10 are going to opt to choose for. So we'll see that in a second. As Old School 3000 is starting our formation lap, and it's a real mix of strategy between everyone outside the top 10. We have B. Morgan is starting on the mediums, as is Tina Jonas. JSD also starting on the mediums, J. Cole starting on the mediums, and Pelly as well on the mediums. They might go for a soft or medium soft strategy in the race, and everyone who's starting on the softs, I imagine they will go on the soft hard strat. Even though a soft medium strategy is possible, it is extremely difficult to not get a puncture on those medium tires. So it's going to be interesting to see when everyone's going to pit and what tires to choose for going into the race. And let me know in the comments what your predictions are for the race. I imagine this race could go either way. Always D3 is always quite hectic in terms of race. Safety cars can always happen out of nowhere, and basically predicting a podium is almost impossible. I've never got it right in my entire career commentating over D3, so yeah, hopefully today I will be right. I'm just gonna say that I think Mark is gonna win. I'm gonna say NSX Yorno in second, and I actually don't know who might actually go finish third. Let's just go with something random. You know what? I don't know who's gonna finish third. I'm not gonna make a prediction on that, as the drivers are lining up to the grid. Mark did quite a fast formation lap, so his tires will be cool compared to everyone, or will be quite a bit cooler than those at the back of the grid. It's going to be interesting to see as we are getting ready to start this race. It's going to be a very interesting one for Division 3. Anything can happen, as we have I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 lights, and lights are out and away we go, and Mark gets a good start off the line. So does Total Peace, who is having a look up the inside of Mark. Mark just holds around the outside, goes a little bit wide, and Total Peace is now side by side with Mark. Miami close between them as well. Oh my god, Mark and Total Peace touching each other throughout the lap. It's very close between them. Mark tries to go around the outside of Total Peace and then turn 3, and now Total Peace has a little bit of traction issues, and Mark gets ahead. Pop uses his overtake to stay ahead on the track, and it's going to be very close. TDB with a brilliant start to the race, and now Yorno's down into P5. XL J. Cole also making up 2 positions. Pelly, I believe, starting the race from P20, is now in P14, and it's really close. Yorno tries to go around the outside of TDB into turn 6, gets little space, and TDB has the inside from the next one, but goes a little bit slow, and Yorno taps the back of him, and TDB holds the position as of right now, but Yorno's having a look, darting out to the inside, letting TDB know he's there, and QVR Chill already has a penalty in the race without even finishing a lap of the race, and we have a yellow flag. I think it's Ton who's in the pits, and no, B Morgan's into the pits, and XL Bree has unfortunately spun out of P5. We have QVR Chill looking to get past J. Luke as well. It's all incredibly close at the front of the grid. Peter is trying to look for a move on Mark, I believe, or no, sorry, timing glitch is just going all over the place, but QVR Chill gets past on J. Luke. Nice move from him, but he does have a penalty already into the race. That will cost him dearly, as Tiana to Jonas and, oh my god, Ton, and looking for a move on Tiana Jonas and extra rotation. He's still on the inside of Ton. Is he going to get past him? It's very close between the two, and Ton does get past to Jonas for P13. That is a crucial move, because now he can maybe stick within, maybe overtake those medium runners and stick with the soft runners ahead of him in the pack, as we already see a few gaps go, and QVR Chill already with 2 time penalties within 2 laps of the race. That is quite interesting. He has got a lot of corners, and Mark almost outside the DRS range of Total Peace. He had a great start, but he's using a lot of overtake to get Total Peace out of sight of DRS, and so has Total Peace trying to stick with him. Miami right now, it looks like he's in a great position with 70% ERS, and so is TDB, who's getting attacked by Yorno again. Yorno trying to have a look up the inside of turn 4. He's getting extremely close, using a lot of his overtake to maybe get past TDB. As is still around on the inside, TDB gives him a lot of room. They touch wheels slightly on the exit of turn 4, but Yorno looks to go around the outside, just like his move into lap 1, but TDB holds the inside and still has the inside for turn 7, and it's extremely close between the two, but Yorno goes around the outside of TDB. That's a brilliant move, and TDB is trying to get back at him, but he won't be able to get side by side with him. Yorno, that was an incredible move, and Total Peace already with a penalty. That's not what he wants during this race. He already doesn't have a lot of ERS as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. And with Yorno and TDB battling, they have lost out of DRS of Miami ahead. So they'll have to close in quite a bit to Miami. And Yorno using his overtake to get back into the DRS. A lot of drivers using ERS quite frequently during the opening laps of the race, trying to get a gap. As Pelly is having a look up the inside of Handler, it doesn't quite work out for him. He has to slot in behind the AlphaTauri man, but Pelly is currently in a great position. I think he started in 11th place. Let me check, or 20th place, sorry, and he's now in 11th. He had a great start, and so has J. Cole. They've put himself in a great position for this race to get a good position. If they can make those mediums work and stick with the train ahead, and basically keep those medium tires in check to at least lap 20, they might go ahead and do a medium soft strategy, as Pelly has picked up his first time penalty of the race. It's all so close, and Toll is just outside of DRS range, and he's using a lot of overtake to try and get back in the DRS range, and I think he's just outside of the DRS range of YHYY ahead. So it's going to be extremely close, and J. Cole is really hounding the back of Pelly. Right now he might have a look up the inside of turn 3, and he does. He's having a look, using his overtake, and he gets past with the aid of DRS, I believe, and that is a good move from J. Cole. Crucial move as well to stick ahead of him, and now he's the lead medium runner of this race. And Harry Nowark and Toll jostling for positions. Harry Nowark trying to have a look up the inside, and Toll defending the inside and keeping the position. And it looks like Toll is struggling quite a bit because he's lost out to DRS of YHYY ahead, so he will not have the aid of DRS to defend against Harry Nowark, and he might be vulnerable on the next couple of straight. He goes into the grass a little bit in the third sector straight, and Total Peace picking up his second time penalty already of the race. That is quite early, and he is saving ERS right now, and Mark is still using a lot of his ERS to stay ahead. QVR Chill with the fastest lap of the race. He is trying to bounce back from maybe a poor start to the race, picking up a couple of time penalties, and yeah, that's very close. And NX6 Yorno is now looking up the inside of Miami, or second place in the championship, gets past Miami into turn 3. Good move from him, gets the traction quite nicely, but Miami might have a look up the inside of Yorno. Is he going to go for a dive? Yorno defending it a little bit, going into the middle of the road, goes a bit deep into the corner, but Miami is going to have to stick behind him. And Excel J. Cole now gets past Pelly, or has to defend against Pelly again, I believe, and he stays ahead of Pelly. And it's also close between Ton, who's still on the medium tires. He's very close to the back of Pelly. We have a yellow flag sector with 2 and 3, and Total Peace has spun from second place. Oh no, that is so disappointing for Total Peace. He has unfortunately spun, and he picks up a 10-second time penalty, remarkably. Ren rejoining the track, that should be removed, to be honest, and it's all so close between everyone. And Toll's the only, or Harry Nowark has got past Toll, but he doesn't have DRS to the cars ahead. He's going to have to push him insanely hard to get past, and now J. Cole breezes past Toll to get P9, and it looks like those medium tires are looking faster at the moment. Oh, and Toll goes for a little dive on J. Cole, but doesn't quite work out, but he uses his overtake quite a lot. J. Cole does have the DRS to aid him, and it's going to look like Toll is still down the inside, but J. Cole trying to make the move still. They're battling quite hard. This is not what they both want. They're both outside of DRS now of Harry Nowark ahead, and J. Cole has gone past Toll. Took him a lot of time and a lot of ERS, because he's now almost on the same amount of ERS as Toll, and without the DRS ahead of him, it's going to be difficult for him to save that ERS. And J. Cole has, or Mark has cleared NSX Yorno by a second, and now doesn't have DRS. But it has to be said, Yorno is still looking quite fast, closing in just a little bit. Miami isn't sticking with Yorno as I expected him to do, and Pelly picks up his second time penalty of the race. TDB is looking extremely fast. He's looking to get past Miami right now, and he has a good run on Miami. Uses his overtake. Both have DRS to their aid. Both putting on overtake to defend. And now TDB is going to look around the outside of turn 4, but Miami breaks late and shuts the door on TDB. Brilliant defending from Miami, but he might lose out a little bit on to the DRS of Yorno, which will cost him massively, but he's still in there as of right now. And I believe Toll has gone past J. Cole and Pelly. He's looking up the inside of Pelly, and he's gone past Pelly, and now J. Cole is almost side by side with Pelly to try and make a move, and Pelly, or J. Cole, has lost 2 positions, I believe, in 1 lap, and that has cost him massively. Now he's the second car on the medium tires, so it's going to be very, very close. And Miami has lost the DRS to TDB. Now TDB might have a look up the inside or outside of turn 3, and he uses the DRS to his aid. Miami, or TDB, not using his overtake to get past, and it looks like it's going to be a clean move. Miami breaks extremely late, goes a little bit wide, but TDB slots in ahead, and he might battle TDB at the end of the straight, but he doesn't use his overtake to attack. And QVR Chill is now in this group, which is quite close. Between Yorno, and the gap between Yorno and YHY, they're all within a DRS train of each other, so everything can happen quite quickly, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for Harry Nowark, who doesn't have DRS, to catch up to the back of him. And so same as to be said about Toll, extremely close between the two, and the battle for P9 is insanely close, all within a second of each other, and they're all trying to get past each other and for the race. And now TDB has lost out to doesn't have DRS to the back of Yorno, so he might have to defend against Miami, who has a lot of ERS, but QVR Chill has an insane run on the exit of turn 1. Miami and QVR Chill both using their overtake. QVR Chill might have a look up the inside, he breaks late, but he doesn't go for it. QVR Chill is looking incredibly fast right now. Might look to get past Miami to get P4 in the race, and TDB is really losing to the back, really losing time to Yorno, and Yorno is losing time to Mark, and Mark is having an extremely good race right now, getting pole in qualifying and still leading the race. It's going to be he's driven a very good race so far, and so does TDB, and to be fair as well. And I missed the battle between Jacob, but Jacob has gone past Pelly as well, and now Eduk has gone past Pelly as well. It's all happening quite quickly there in the battle for P9. Every single lap I check, something changes, and Toll is looking like he's getting back into the DRS range of Harry Noir, but it looks like those soft tires are starting to go off a little bit, as Jacob looks like he's quite a bit faster than Toll ahead. But Toll now does have DRS to defend against J. Cole. Gus is a little bit out of shape, Toll, however, on the exit of turn 1, but J. Cole just doesn't have the ERS and the straight line speed to make a move as of right now. But it looks like Mark has made a slight error somewhere into turn 1 or 3 and has lost 6 tenths to NSX Yorno, and he's now well within Mark's. Interesting how those two are gonna battle it out. We have seen these two quite close together throughout the season already, so we could see a lot of things happening in this race. And J. Cole is now side by side, I believe, with Toll, but Toll still keeps the position, and J. Cole might have a switchback move, and he thinks better of it, but it's so close between those two, and I think Toll is holding up J. Cole quite massively right now. His tires are quite a bit faster, I believe, than Toll's at the moment. And Pelly, yeah, just goes past Edok, who enters the pits now. That's a good pit stop. He's probably going to go on to the hards. Let's see what he goes on to, and he does opt for the hard tires. He's going to make it to the end on those tires. Yes, it will be quite close between him maybe getting a puncture or not, but pitting lap 11 should be fine for him, as Ton goes on to the medium tires. I believe he started the race on medium tires or on soft tires, and he's going on the medium tires already. That's a quite early pit stop. I don't think he'll make it to the end on those tires. Usually you want to pit around lap 15, maybe even 16 from the soft tires to go on to the medium tires in order to make it to the end of the race. But Yorno or XL Jaco and Toll have both gone past Harry Noir this lap, so Harry Noir is really struggling. So might be a good choice for him to just pit this lap, and Toll looks like he's going to enter the pits. He goes to the inside, and J. Cole gets extremely close to the back of Toll, which allows Harry Noir to get extremely close to J. Cole as well. And Old School 3000 has just pitted for hard tires as well, so he pits from the net race lead. Yorno was creeping up to the back of him, so it's going to be very close between those two for the race lead. Maybe Yorno might have an overcut on Mark, and yeah, it's just very close, and TDB just doesn't have the pace to quite stick to the back of Yorno and get that DRS. He has lost out a little bit, and it looks like we have like almost 3 fields in this race. We have Mark and Yorno battling each other, and we have P3 to P6 battling each other, and of course J. Cole battling with Toll, Eduk, and Pelly and Harry Noir as well. So it's all close between those drivers, and J. Cole or Mark is in a little bit of clean air. He can push quite a lot to maybe get an undercut on Yorno, as Yorno pits from the race lead right now, as does QVR Chill. Both are probably going on the hard tires. Miami picks up his 2nd time penalty, I believe, and this hurts TDB to get the race lead, and J. Luke now is outside of the DRS of him. He might be on the threat of YHYY, and NSX Yorno is very close with Mark. You can see Mark on the exit of turn 1, and Mark just about comes out ahead of NSX Yorno, but NSX Yorno is on the medium tires. That is going to be very interesting to see if you can make those tires to the end. Those medium tires are quite consistent and good, but they might struggle a little bit with grip to the end of the race. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Mark doesn't have DRS ahead of him, so I think Yorno will make this move quite easily on much fresher tires. So yeah, that is quite an interesting strategy choice from NSX Yorno and QVR Chill as well, who also went on the medium tires in the same lap. So as told, to be honest, he just went on the mediums as well. Now looking to get past Eduk, and Eduk picks up a time penalty, strangely enough, in turn 5, which is weird. And TDB, YHY, and Miami both enter the pits right now from into race. Disinherits J-Luke, the net race lead, and J. Cole and Pelly are in a good position right now. All they have to do is go probably 5 or 6 more laps to make those to get those soft tires to at least lap 21 or 20, and put on the fresh soft sets. I'm sorry, and have an insane tire advantage to the end of the race. But NSX Yorno is really close to the back of LOE Mark or Old School, and he's popping on his overtake using the DRS. Mark is looking to defend. He uses his overtake as well, but NSX Yorno doesn't go for the move in down into turn 4 this lap, and QVR Chill has really made up a lot of time to TDB, and I think Miami has lost out a little bit of time, but has out quite a lot. So has YHYY by pinning a lap later than TDB and QVR Chill, I believe. So it's definitely close between those two, as J-Luke pits now from the net race lead. Extra rotation, just picks up his first time penalty. And yeah, I think NSX Yorno is going to probably look to get past Old School 3000 down into turn 3. He has the tire advantage, he has DRS as well, and he gets a good exit off of turn 1. He is using his overtake, using the DRS, using a lot of slipstream. Mark is trying to defend the inside of turn 3, but NSX Yorno is going to look around the outside of turn 3. Quite a difficult move, but he gets the traction with those medium tires and gets comfortably ahead of Mark. And that's a good move from NSX Yorno, a crucial move as well, to maybe gap Mark in for when his tires might go off at the later stages of the race. And Toll now as well just gets past Eduk, and a lot of drivers choosing the medium tires for the second stint, and it could be quite close between those drivers to actually make it to the end on tire wear. They might actually get a puncture between lap 33 or the final lap, but it's gonna be interesting to see it. And gaps are starting to form a little bit in this race now, and QVR Chill got past TDB. I completely missed that, but yeah, he's gone past now. Extra rotation and Excel Breed both picking up time penalties, and Miami setting the fast lap with a 5.8. That's an insanely fast lap time for Miami, and he's still in position for a good points finish. I think he has 2 time penalties right now, so that could cost him at the end of the race, maybe if there's a late safety car. But how J. Cole and Pelly are doing right now, they're doing quite a good job. The pit stop delta is almost 18 seconds, I believe, and it is extremely close between the drivers behind and between the drivers ahead behind, and they both will probably go on to the fresh softer tires and have an insane tire advantage to those ahead. So they could make up they could make up quite a few moves at the end of the race, and most of the drivers in the midfield right now don't have DRS to each other, so moves will be a little bit easier as Miami sets another fast lap. He looks extremely quick. So does TDB, looking to the back of to the back of QVR Chill, and QVR Chill or TDB has a bit more ERS to use, and of course has a DRS, and yeah, gets good exit TDB off of turn 3, might have a look of the inside or outside of Kvyat into turn 4, but doesn't use his overtake to attack the racing point ahead. And extra rotation has retired in the pits, unfortunately, this race. Yeah, I don't know if he got damaged or anything, or if something happened, but very unfortunate to see him retire from this race. I think J. Luke got past Toll the previous lap as well. A lot is happening this race, and TDB is hounding the back of Kvyat. Has a lot more ERS, so if he just uses that ERS, he could get past, and Kvyat goes a little bit wide onto the penultimate corner, and yeah, he just about gets away with it, with TDB not being close enough to make a move down into turn 1. But TDB is really close. Maybe if he gets a good exit off of turn 1, and Kvyat goes a little bit wide, but TDB doesn't quite get the best exit possible for this race, and Jorno gets past. Jorno gets past JSD as well, but TDB is looking up the inside of Kvyat around the outside using the overtake, but TDB has the DRS to get past and edge him ahead, using a lot of overtake, both of them, and Kvyat trying to look around the outside, but there isn't enough space for him to make the move, and TDB gets the move done, and they're both on the threat of YHYY now, who's driving he's went under the radar this race, and he's going extremely fast right now. They're both in a net P3, or they're fighting for net P3 essentially, against TDB. So it's very close between all those drivers, and Miami has caught up massively to those cars ahead as well. Could be interesting to see if they all battle in the race, if J. Luke could catch up and Kvyat picks up his 3rd time penalty, and next is Jorno using those medium tires to get ahead of Pelly, who's on all the tires. Mark is actually doing a great job right now of not losing a lot of time to the cars ahead, and maybe those medium runs ahead of him, they could pit this lap and clear the space ahead of him essentially, and give him an opportunity to maybe close down to the back of Jorno once his tires go off. And J. Cole has been increasing the gap every single lap this race so far to the back of to Pelly and JSD, and now Old School is looking up the inside of turn 7, I believe, and he gets past Pelly, who doesn't fight the Renault man. And yeah, it's just so much happening this race, and it's so close between everyone. And as JSD pits right now, and he will probably go on to those fresh soft tires. It's going to be interesting to see what he's going to opt to choose, and he does go on the soft tires. He will be extremely fast on the soft tires. He will have to make up some time to the cars ahead though, but with those soft tires he will be insanely quick and catch up to the back of those cars quite easily, I imagine. And someone has spun, and I think Toll has spun on the exit of turn 1, and now Harry Noir gets past, and he's lost a couple of positions to Eduk and J. Luke, I believe, and that has cost him massively this race. So now with Toll basically outside of DRS, this gives Eduk a chance to maybe overtake J. Luke at the with safety car, and there's a virtual safety car for Toll's spin, I believe. This, if I were J. Cole right now, I would pit immediately, and it looks like he is going to pit, and Pelly might pit as well. This is the prime opportunity for both those medium runners to pit and essentially maybe get a free pit stop, or at least lose less time to the cars behind. And Pelly spins going into the pits and then loses strongly. That is incredibly disappointing for Pelly. Oh man, that is so disappointing. He's driven in a great race so far, and now he has wing damage and he has to repair it. That is very unfortunate. But J. Cole comes out just behind YHY, and with those fresh tires, I imagine he will be quite a bit quicker, and he could make some moves. However, everyone ahead of him is within DRS of each other, so making moves when you're 4th or 5th in a DRS train is going to be extremely difficult, as Toll unfortunately retires into the pits. But J. Cole, with those fresh tires, and he has 14 laps to make those moves, get those moves done. I don't think he has picked up a single penalty so far in this race. So he has come back from his poor qualifying incredibly, to be fair, has to be said, because qualifying P20, he's now P7, and with those fresh tires, I'm quite sure he'll make some moves this race, and he already has the fastest Sector 2 time for this race, so he's already almost within DRS, catching up to the back of them quite rapidly, and all he has to do is just stay patient and make those moves when he has the chance, and not rush the move and lose extra time. He is in an insanely good position, and he doesn't want to waste that opportunity. Harry Noir picks up a time penalty, unfortunately. TDB is closing to the back of QVR Chill again. They both have been battling the entire race for net P3, and they're doing an incredible job of entertaining us this race. And I think QVR Chill has 2 or 3 time penalties, and I'm not sure what TDB has, but it's really close between those drivers. And J. Cole already looking up the inside of YHY, trying to get a move done into turn 4, and he does get past, uses his overtake quite a lot, but YHY keeps his nose in there for turn 6, but J. Cole gets ahead and uses those fresh soft tires to get ahead, and Miami goes a little bit into the grass. J. Cole might actually get another move down here on this lap. He is side by side, and Miami lets him go through. That is an incredible, that's some crucial moves from J. Cole there, using those soft tires, and gets past 2 cars in 1 lap. And now he's already looking so close to the back of TDB, but he's used almost all of his DRS already into the race, and gets past TDB and down into turn 1, but he doesn't have ERS to maybe defend against TDB on the straight. He does have DRS, however, on the back of QVR, uses the slipstream of QVR to defend, and TDB is going to stick behind J. Cole. J. Cole using those fresh soft tires to his advantage, and looks like he's going to get past QVR. Maybe there will be a little bit of team orders, but he's going to stick behind QVR for this lap at least, on this back straight. And yeah, J. Cole using those soft tires incredibly, and he's just going to go around on the inside. Oh, a bit of wheel banging between both Racing Point drivers, probably not what you want to see between those teammates, but J. Cole gets past his teammate, and within 2 laps J. Cole has made up 3 or 4 positions, I'm sorry, and that is quite insane, to be honest. And now he can use those soft tires to catch up to the back of LO, or Old School, also known as LOE Mark. And now TDB is looking up the inside of QVR, who just hopped over the curb in the final corner. They're going side by side, and QVR gives him a squeeze. And now Miami is going to look around the outside of TDB and YHY as well. They might go 3 wide down into turn 3. It's all extremely close between those drivers. YHY just sticking behind. Miami having a look up the inside of TDB, and TDB gets the traction out of turn 3, but YHY also looking up the inside, but it looks like they're going to stick behind. But TDB, with that overtake usage, he is going to go past QVR Chill and make the move for net P4, but QVR Chill is going to fight back at him, gets a better exit on the exit of turn 4, tries to go around the outside of turn 6, but doesn't quite work out, and TDB makes up the move after making a slight getting squeezed into turn 1, getting a bad exit off of turn 1, and has to defend against Miami. He actually makes up a move in all that. So that is a great job, or that's a great overtaking and defending from TDB. Gets ahead of QVR Chill. All of them have quite a low areas except Miami and YHY. YHY having 90% ERS. If he uses ERS, he could quite easily get past those drivers ahead. And J. Cole's now within DRS of Old School ahead, and he's gonna look to get past him as soon as possible. And with all this battling, as I've said before, J-Luke and Edok are both within this insanely long DRS train. Well, as I've said that, J-Luke has lost out to DRS to those cars ahead, but they're all extremely close, and I think the hard tires might be coming to their own right now at this stage in the race, because Edok is still keeping up to the back of the cars ahead, and Excel J. Cole is extremely fast on the soft tires, and he is closing in to NSX Giorno in the meantime as well, who pitted quite early on those medium tires. His tires might actually start to wear off a little bit, and those hard and soft tires will be faster probably at this stage in the race. But XL J. Cole gets a great exit off of turn 1. He uses his DRS and slipstream, but Mark defending using quite a bit of overtake to defend against J. Cole and stays ahead so far, but J. Cole having that better traction than Old School. Actually, Old School actually getting a brilliant piece, little bit of traction to stay ahead, but XL J. Cole looks to go around the outside of Old School, and he does get past. A little bit of ghosting, a little bit of lag maybe, but he does get past and uses the fresh tires. In the meantime, Miami and YHY are battling for P6 right now. YHY not using his overtake to get ahead of Miami. Maybe that would have been a wise choice to use that 70% he has, almost a 50% difference between those two drivers. If he maybe he could quite easily get past, because he looks incredibly fast even without using his DRS. And TDB is extending the gap, it looks like, to the back of QVR Chill. They're really close between each other, and J. Cole is closing up to the back of Yorno by some amount over a couple of laps. I think he's already 5 or 6 tenths quicker this lap compared to Yorno, and yeah, J. Cole's looking extremely fast. Pelly picks up a time penalty, unfortunately, after picking up damage when entering the pits, and he is down into P12. He could still get some points. I believe Bree also has a time penalty, but I don't know how many he has. It's all heating up for this battle for P4. It's a race-long battle. P4, the gap between P4 and P9 has almost been inseparable the entire race, and with all of them battling, anything could happen at this stage in the race. We've only had one virtual safety car with 8 laps to go in this race. A lot can happen. J. Cole is closing a lot this lap to the back of NSX Yorno, as Miami picks up I believe his 3rd time penalty. That's going to cost him to some drivers behind maybe, and with it all being so close, getting a time penalty could be crucial to determine your final finishing position. But all of these drivers within the top 9 have given us an incredible showing this race. J. Cole coming from the back of the grid, P20, and he's now in P2, driven an incredible race using those medium tires and at the start of the race, and keeping with the soft runners ahead, and now he's using those soft tires to close up to the back of NSX Yorno. Both championship rivals are probably going to battle it out at the end of this race for the race win. It's going to be very interesting scene. We're going to monitor the gap and see what's going to happen at the end of this race. I think NSX Yorno's tires might be going off a little bit, as we have a yellow flag in sector 2. NSX or XL Pre has unfortunately spun and loses a position to Ton in the meantime as well. That is very unfortunate for him, and yeah, he's now almost getting attacked by TNR to Jonas, unfortunately for Bree. Driven quite a lonely race. I think he qualified P5, but I think he got caught out by some incidents lap 1. Maybe he has spun, and yeah, very unfortunate for him to spin again this race. And it looks like TDB is holding the train quite nicely, to be fair, at the top of the field, and Edok and YHY both have quite a bit of ERS to use, and Edok's tires might come into his own as YHY actually gets past Miami. I think Miami just missed that, but he might have made a traction mistake going onto the straight, and YHY just gets past him quite easily. Miami saving a lot of ERS at this stage in the race to get to stick with the back of him, and JSD using those soft tires to maybe get past Harry Noir ahead. He goes up the inside. Harry Noir gives him the space on the inside, and JSD looks like he's going to go down on the inside, but Harry Noir keeping it around the outside, doing brilliant defending, and he actually keeps the position. Brilliant defending from Harry Noir to keep his position, keep that P10 to those soft runners behind. But how long will he be able to keep them behind? They still have 5 laps to overtake him. It's going to be extremely close between those drivers to finish the race, and yeah, I think Harry Noir not using his overtake and almost out of fuel, to be honest. And you can see Pelly just closing up quite massively and picks up a time penalty on the exit of turn 1, trying to get past Harry Noir. But Harry Noir fighting back to JSD, and is actually going to go down the inside of turn 3 and gets the move done, and he still has DRS. He's timed up overtake to perfection to stay ahead of JSD, and now JSD might actually be on the threat of Pelly. Pelly is gonna look down the inside, breaks extremely late, and JSD turns in, but JSD just has the better exit on out of turn 4. Good defending from JSD and a great bit of overtaking from Harry Noir to time that overtake to the perfection and stay ahead of JSD. And now XL Cole is within 1.3 seconds of NSX Yorno. These two are going to fight for it on the final few laps of the race, as those soft or medium tires will probably be going off at this stage in the race. And the straight is just insanely close between everyone. YHYY still has a lot of DRS compared to the cars that both of them almost only have 20%, and YHYY has 70%. If he uses ERS, he could essentially make those moves quite easily, and he does use a little bit right here, but doesn't opt to use it a little bit more to get past. And Harry Noir and JSD are battling again, and Harry Noir gets a little bit out of shape out of turn 3 and has to slop behind Pelly. Unfortunately now has lost 2 positions, but yeah, they're both on soft tires. There's not much Harry Noir could have done to maybe keep those 2 cars behind, and TDB picks up a time penalty that could be crucial to the finishing order of the race. Getting a time penalty is probably going to be costly. Now YYY is extremely close to the back of QVHO. QVHO makes a mistake, cuts as well, and goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn of the penultimate final corner. I'm sorry. And now YY is looking extremely fast. If he uses DRS right now, he could essentially get past QVHO and get P5. And he does use a lot of his ERS. He wants to get the move done on to the back of Chill. YY going down the inside using those medium tires and brakes extremely late, gives QVHO not a lot of room, but he gets ahead. But QVHO does have DRS, and so does YHY, I'm sorry. And YHY with that extra overtake is going to stay ahead of QVHO. Very crucial move, and now he can maybe get to the back of TDB, and Jaco has caught up to the back of NSX Yorno. He can still win this race from the back of the grid. It would have been an incredible comeback race after a horrible qualifying. He is looking for a race win right now on those soft tires, and he is extremely fast, within 3/10 of each other now. Yorno is going to have to defend quite a lot. They're both on quite similar DRS, and Pelly has unfortunately disqualified from the session after receiving multiple penalties in this race, and XL Jaco just breezes past NSX Yorno for the race lead, and that's a good move from Jaco from the back of the grid. He's now into first place. It's an incredible race, a probably comeback of the season after an incredibly disappointing qualifying. He has just made up so many positions and has driven an extremely good race, and he looks like he is going to win this race. Fair enough by him, and yeah, it's just an incredible comeback from him, and he's doing an insanely good job right now. And the battle for P4 is still not done. They're still fighting with each other in the DRS train. It's quite difficult to make some move, but YHY looks like he's the only one who's been able to make moves, and that is in the DRS train. That's probably because he has that extra ERS to his advantage to use that on the straights and get a little bit of extra top speed to get past the cars ahead who also have DRS. But now the car ahead of him doesn't have DRS, so he has an insane advantage to get past the Williams of TDB, and he might have a look up the inside of turn 3. Doesn't get quite a good exit in TDB, using his overtake and depleting it quite massively, and just YHY just sitting behind waiting for the pristine moment to strike. Edok still behind the DRS chains. Looks like he's extremely fast on those hard tires. Maybe the medium tires are starting to go off a little bit, because Edok looks like he's extremely fast, but because he's in the back of the DRS train, it's going to be extremely difficult for him to make some moves, as J-Lu goes a little bit deep into turn 4, but Edok isn't quite close enough to get the move done. So Yorno is sticking within the DRS of Jaco, and with the final lap about to start the race, it looks like the top 3 have been determined already, and it's they've all driven an incredible race. Mark actually not making a mistake, Yorno not making a mistake. they've all of them have driven an incredible race, and they've pulled away from TDB at the start of the race, and now they're all fighting. And Jay Luke is going to have a look up the inside of Miami on the final lap of the race into turn 1. He gets past, but Miami now with his overtake and gets a little bit better exit off of turn 1 is going to look to get past YHYY on the final lap of the race. Doesn't quite go for a dive up into turn 1, slots in behind, goes for a better exit off of turn 3. He does get a good exit. TDB using all of his overtake, but YHY turning off his overtake and is going to have a look up the inside of TDB for P4, and he does get the move done. YHY using that overtake advantage to get past, and a great move from YHY getting into P4, and now Jay Luke just about couldn't defend from Miami, and they're so close behind. It looks like J. Cole is gonna win this race from P20 on the grid. Incredible race from him. He is the deserving race winner in my opinion, but he doesn't win. He has a penalty, and NSX Yorno wins the race on penalties. Mark, or Old School 3000, finishes third. YHYY is gonna finish fifth. TDB finishing fourth. J. Luke finishing fifth. ADOC with almost getting P6 at the end of that. JSD picking up P8, QVR Chill picking up P9, Miami with a lot of time penalties picking up P10, Harry Nora picking up P11 I believe, and Leonardo Jonas looks like he's going to round at the points. It depends if he has more penalties than Ton behind, but yeah, it's going to be Jonas who finishes out, picks up the final point of the race. Excel Bree in 14, B Morgan in 15, then Peter has unfortunately disconnected from the race I believe, but NSX Yorno picking up no time penalty or less time penalties than Jayco and ends up winning the race. That is incredible. I didn't see Jayco actually picking up a time penalty, so I thought he would have won the race, but he still finished P2 after qualifying P20. But this does mean he has lost the championship lead to NSX Yorno, who regains his lead, and I believe the gap between the both of them might actually be equal now, because Jacob, I'm not sure if Jacob picked up the fastest lap or not, but if Jacob didn't pick up the fastest lap, then Yorno has the championship by 1 point, extremely close between those two drivers, and yeah, this is looking like it's going to be an insane championship battle. And yeah, NSX Yorno and Old School not picking up time penalties, and so does, I think Eduk didn't pick up time penalties, I believe. Didn't quite catch that. No, it was JSD, and he actually gained quite a few positions. I believe he was in P11 or P10 before the end of the race, and yeah, he's now at P8. Doing an incredible race. But the race rundown is NSX Yorno in first, Excel J. Cole in second, Old School 3000 in third, TDB in fourth, J. Luke in fifth, Eduk in sixth, after being ninth almost the entire race. YHY being in, picking up 7th place, JSD picking up 8th, QVR Chill picking up 9th, Miami picking up P10 after fighting for P4 the entire race. Harry Noir picking up P11, Tina Jonas picks up the final point of the race. XL Bree, Ton, B Morgan and Peter unfortunately did not pick up a point this race, and our retirees are Tall, Extra Rotation, Total Ps and Pelly. Pelly did pick up the fastest lap of the race, but he did get disqualified, so I imagine no one will actually pick up the fastest lap of the race. But I would thank you all for joining this race. That was an incredible race, and D3 wise there was only one single virtual safety car, and that is congratulations to everyone for keeping it clean throughout the race and actually making an incredible race this time out. So I would like to thank everyone for participating. I've been Iro Dylan, and will probably see you guys next week. Of course, to tune in to the D2 and D5 stream. They will both start within 10 or within half an hour, I believe. So tune into that race, and yeah, congratulations to everyone who raced, and thanks to everyone who tuned into the stream and commented. It has been me, Iro Dylan, and goodbye.